I'm looking at your pardon?
Oh, that was just, I just started the recording.
Oh, okay. Um, what I realize is that as I'm looking at the bibliographies, there was a misconnect about them realizing they had to have background information about this career. Um, they looked at a lot of problems within the career, but there wasn't anything that gave them the information that they needed in what are the qualifications in order to do this job. How much education do I need? What are some of the other things I have to accomplish in order to do this career? So I'm thinking occupational guides, or they need to know, where can I find that basic information?
Sure, sure. All right, well, I'm going to get started with the presentation and then we will address that. And you can chime in at any time if you have any questions or comments
Sure.
along the way. All
And that
right.
goes for you guys too. You have a question, jump in. Now's your time.
All right. Okay, so my name is Cynthia Kramer. I'm one of the faculty librarians here at JJC. Okay, and in today's session, we're going to talk about peer review, go over some terminology about resources, discuss evaluating sources, and then we'll touch on Credo, where you can get background information, and then we'll search for articles using the library discovery tool, and then we'll also search for career type details in Vocational Studies Premier. And then I'm also going to go over the general citation format too.
Perfect.
So when you're searching for articles, many times your professor is going to ask you for a peer review or a scholarly article. So this is a nice like infographic of the scholarly review process. Okay, so if you write an article maybe about problems in the workplace or something like that, you write the article and then you submit it to a journal. And then it's reviewed by a panel of experts. And then they're going to probably give you feedback, kind of like how your professor does on a first draft. Okay. And then it goes to production and then it gets published. So I just kind of like to let you know that the key about the peer review is that you've got these experts that go through and they'll question maybe your methods or question some of the results to make sure that it's consistent within the field. And why do we have this? It's a quality checking thing. So I figured this is kind of good because you'll see that when we look, you can always select peer-reviewed article. All right, so some terminology I want to talk about is database and journal, because sometimes that can get confusing. So the database is the collection of records, so different articles from different journals, okay? And typically you can go into the database and pull out a record with full text, okay? And then the journal is like the specific like publishing entity, right? It's the serial, it has articles that are published on a regular basis. I think of like Journal of Psychology, you know, Journal of American Medical Association. So those, again, they're published typically monthly, sometimes even weekly. And so it's within those journals that you'll find the research articles. So just so you know the difference between a database, which is like the whole collection, and the journal, which is like a specific publication on a specific topic. And then these are just some examples of some of the databases that we have. All right, so when I'm looking at resources, I do want to evaluate them. So hopefully the resources you're getting from the library have already been reviewed, right? So they should have a certain level of quality. But you also may be looking at outside resources, government resources. So you have some questions that you want to ask yourself, and this goes with the CRAP criteria. So you can go with, how recent is it? So specifically for, and for you guys, for salary information on your specific careers, I mean, you're going to want to have things definitely no more than 10 years old, but hopefully within the 5-year range. It just depends. And then you want to think about your topic and think about what you find. And does it really tie into your topic? Does it answer some of the questions that you have? And then you're going to look at the accuracy of it. So again, is there a reference section? Is there a bibliography? Do they have citations that are supporting what they're saying? So you're just looking, you're trying to shy away maybe from an opinion piece, let's say. And then who is the author? And you want to look to see, is the author an expert? Do they have a degree in the field? Where are they from? Have they published before? And then, this comes from evaluating websites. So many times you'll look for a website and the information might be slanted because they want to persuade you for one thing, or they want to try to sell you something. So you kind of keep that in mind. So again, these are the questions you would ask. So again, how current is the information? When was the book published? Is this enough for your paper? Relevance, who's the intended audience? And I like this one. Would you be comfortable telling your professor you use this source? Would you be comfortable showing it to her? So that's just another one. And then authority, we're talking about the author and their credentials. Does the publisher have any interest in this topic? Are you getting information on law enforcement and the publisher is, Department of Law Enforcement or something? So you just always kind of want to know how objective is the research. And also, if you're using a website, are there advertisements? What does it look like? And then again, the accuracy, really, for that, I just look to make sure there are sources. So that's how you can see the difference between a general internet search article and a research article. Is the general internet article may have no sources. You may not be able to find out who the author is. And then that purpose or point of view. Again, hopefully the items that you find in the databases are going to be on the factual side and not too biased. But we do have some databases like opposing viewpoints that actually have kind of a viewpoint pro of one issue and a viewpoint on the other. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then choosing a topic. It sounds like you guys all chose topics of careers you're either working in or interested in. And just kind of some questions I ask myself is, can I easily find information on this particular topic? Is it easy to read? Does it add to what I already know? Or is it too broad? Am I just getting too many results, or is it too narrow? I'm just getting too few. So I just want you to think about those things. And then when you're actually searching, we do use Boolean operators, and I'll show you some of that. So it could be if you use and, it'll give you all the results about travel and tourism. If you use or, it's going to do everything, all travel, all tourism. And you can even, and you can even be even more specific if you put in 3 things. Most of the time, you're just going to do a simple and, right? And you're going to find the ones that are related on both. All right, so here is Credo reference. And what's nice about this is that it does create a mind map for you. So it gives you similar topics you could look at. So it doesn't happen for every search. So if it's not happening for your search, then maybe try something more broad. All right. And then this is just, as I said, I will definitely give you this PowerPoint, Professor. And this is just the general works cited, right? last name, first name, title of the article, which is the specific work within the title of the journal. And then if there's any other contributors, version, numbers, typically issue number, volume number, date, page numbers, the database, and then something specific like a URL, so like a link to it, or a DOI, which is a specific number just for that article. So, all right. And the title should have the same capitalizations with the article titles in quotes, and journal titles in italics. So that's how you can tell.
Let me just ask you, now, a lot of times these journals will be online. Do they necessarily have the page numbers that if you had that journal in your hand, you would be able to go to that page number?
You know what? Let's look when we do some searches. Let's look at them.
Okay.
I would say a lot of them still do. So I think a lot of them still do. Oh, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, just to capitalize on that, a lot of the articles that I looked at when I was trying to find a page number, there wasn't any. So I didn't know what to put since they were all like web links. I put one because I only use one page. But essentially, yeah, I didn't find any page numbers when I was looking at any of the articles.
Okay.
If that's the case, then don't even bother. Don't worry about it.
Well, right. If there is no page number, I guess, yeah, you just admit it. So but I still want to, I like to do a fresh check when I'm doing a search. All right. So what did and then this is just how to get in contact with us. You can call us, text us, email, and you can visit us. So I just kind of threw in here. Oh, I meant to book. I tell ya, get too excited. So we are open Monday through Thursday till 6 p.m., Friday to 4:30, and then Saturday we have select dates now. I thought I updated the slide, but I just want to let you know that we are open. You can come get help.
You could physically come to the library on a Saturday.
On some specific ones.
On
So yeah, I'll when I send you the PowerPoint, I thought I put in the updated dates. It's like October 20, like October 23rd and November 6th, and
kind of like an every other. Yadira, you have a question.
Yeah, so for virtual help hours, it's all the way to 10 p.m.
Yes.
But not necessarily with you, right?
It's with me or another librarian. We have 2 adjuncts that worked in the evening, or 3.
Okay.
So, I go home, let's say around 4:30, and then around 5 o'clock, Colleen, Kamala, or they'll be on chat and they can do screen sharing. Just the same way.
How can I make an appointment after 4:30 then with her?
Yes, I'll ask them to put some availability in, but you also could just email. If you tell me what day, I can email you the person too.
Okay.
And you should be able to just hop on chat, and they're not too busy at that time, so you should be able to just if you go.
I had a hard time looking for the chat. I know I was able to access.
I'll show it. All right. So.
Good questions, Yadira.
All right. So I'm going to bring this over. Okay. So if I go to the library homepage, so if you go to jjc.edu and you go student resources library, and then if you go here, this is like where you can book an appointment and you can click to chat. That's where you open up the chat. So I'll just put Cynthia English 102, and I'll just put in test question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So that's where I go to chat on the main web page. I think sometimes when you're searching, it also automatically does like kind of an annoying pop-up. So we might see that too.
Yeah, I would still say it would be better to call rather than spending the time typing in and I think.
Yeah, I mean that I guess the catch is at after 6 PM, we don't really,
Oh,
it's actually better because in the chat, then we do screen share, then we do a Zoom and we talk to you that way.
okay, okay.
So
That's what I'm looking for, yeah.
yeah, I think chat's the good way to go. And then, yeah, if you say, hey, I want to talk, they'll just do a screen share. It's kind of great, actually. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, good.
All right. So, do you, Ben or Yadira, do you want me to do a specific search in your topic on the discovery tool?
Hey, this is your time. Do it.
Yes, yes, I can go
Yeah,
ahead.
I
and
don't mind.
It's
Okay. I'll start with Yadira since she may have to pop off soon. What
Yeah.
topic do you want me to search?
just the main ones, I guess, the early childhood educator, like the degree.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm just going to put in early childhood degree. Okay, and when you do the discovery tool, it is going to ask you to sign in. So you sign in with JJC users. Okay, so then we also on the side here can limit to available online and peer reviewed. I can click apply filters. And then over here, I'm going to click remember all filters. So now it remembers them. And then I also want to go to resource type and choose articles because that's what I'm interested in. I don't want reviews or book chapters necessarily.
Now, I noticed that the first entry there is Swedish. So we want to be able to make sure that everything is relevant to the US. Is that a possible filter?
You can, I don't know that I have as much success in this specific database doing that. In other ones, I have better luck. So I just wanted to see, I think, I think I'm going to like I'm gonna let's go to Eric, which I think this is it's going to be specific to education. So if I go in databases here, I can go into all subjects and I can choose education, and it's going to give you some of our education. So there's Eric and professional development collection. Both of those are really good. So I'm going to go into Eric, and then Eric is one of these standard EBSCO databases. And then I can put like early childhood education.
I see we've got early childhood education teachers down there.
All right, so you can do that. Okay, and click search. Okay, and then there's 2,000 results. So on the side here, again, I can limit to full text, which means we have access to it right away. And then, I mean, you can always request something from interlibrary loan, but I like to see what we have available right away. And then I'll click on peer reviewed. Okay, and then so like I guess it depends what you're looking for. Like if you like, and as I'm looking through these. So like, look at this one. The teacher should be learning in-service professional development and learning of teachers implementing inclusive education. So let's say I'm interested in this one. I can click on this full text from Eric. So there's the little Eric symbol. And then I can click here to download full text. All right. Well, this one, yeah, see this? Okay, let's see if we can, I know you guys want US, so let's go back. I saw like Ghana in here.
I'm
So let me-
sorry, I have to go.
That's okay. Don't worry, dear. I'll talk to the other librarians and we'll get you set up, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
So I'll still, for her benefit, in case she watches later, I just want to see if we can, in this one, we can sort by geography. I just always, the Zoom bar always gets in my way.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe something, like vocational guide or.
Well, the
something.
vocational, so let's skip ahead, or Ben, since you're here, what would you like me to search for you?
I guess it's kind of similar. It's secondary education or high school education.
High school education. All right, let's search it in that. I'm just gonna, I know, I'll move this down a little bit. There we go. Then I have an easier time. Okay, so I'm gonna go into databases and you can still see fine. This is big enough.
Yeah, I could see.
Okay, all right. So if I go here, vocational studies premier is under V. So I click on V, vocational studies premier. And then I can do secondary education. I'm gonna do salary. I'm just gonna see what comes up. You know, you got to try different keywords. Okay, so 2. Let's see. Oh, let's try.
How about just teaching degree or teacher's degree?
Teacher's degree. Okay, and then I'm going to do the full text again. And then sometimes in here, well, I'll also do the date, right? Let's say we don't want anything more than 10 years old. So yeah, I think these are going to be more like,
Yeah, we need something real basic, like even, Illinois teaching degree.
or occupational. The one that is that like just teacher salary outlook, occupational outlook. Oh, wow. Let's see. Teaching requirements.
You know what I remember? I remember a set of books that actually had that, and we would just access the chapter relevant to that particular career.
It's the occupational outlook handbook. So this, okay, so if you go into the government, the Bureau of Labor Statistics occupational handbook, and then you can go into education, and then you're looking at like a high school teacher.
Yep, that's what he was looking for.
Okay, so you click on high school teacher, and then it's going to give you the salary, the education, how to become pay, job outlook.
Yeah.
Here's
a big
what they
deal.
do, work environment, how to become one.
Yeah, bingo.
Okay, so yeah, I think this used to be a book, but this is what it is now, is the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So maybe I should send you a link to that, Dee Dee, and then
That
you
would be
post
great.
that in your class and tell everybody that they need to look that up.
Yes, that
You
would
know?
be beautiful.
So, yeah, I was hoping now see, I thought the occupational handbook was like indexed within that database and it would also come up, but I think this is actually easier to go straight to it. What other type of information would you like, Ben?
Part of me got confused with like the cons of certain degrees. So for high school education, are we talking about cons such as um, like the payment not as high as other occupations, or are we talking about cons like there are different types of stress levels that comes with it, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
I'd like you to avoid going into the money because state-wise and even nationwide, Congress can't figure out what to do with education as far as money. Everybody knows we're underpaid, and that just becomes so difficult to try to solve. You can't take it on. But there are certainly other things, other cons with being a teacher, without a doubt. And I remember too, Cynthia, there was also a website or something that when we used to do our library orientation, it actually would look at pros and cons.
Yeah, no, there is one. So if we go here, we can go to, I'll just go back to the library homepage. You go to databases, and then there's opposing viewpoints. And then you could go into, it's loading. Sometimes this one's been a little slow. And once you go in, you could browse specific issues or you could search your topic. And if it's too slow, I'll go back in again.
Ben, were you also thinking of special ed? Or were you thinking math?
Yeah, primarily math.
Okay.
Okay,
Must have been one
so
of the other students that were doing special
I'll
ed.
just do teaching math just to see. Let's see. So yeah, I'm just gonna look at their issues too and see what they have with education. Oh, wow. All right, so yeah, I mean, I guess if you search in this the way this one is formatted is it gives you a background. So like, here's a background of K-12 education. Okay, and it'll give you some of the main ideas, like how many students are in it, what's the policy, other alternative models, you know. So this one's more about the education aspect, but then it's going to have like viewpoints. So like maybe you wanted to talk about the Chicago teachers using versus charter schools.
That's an interesting topic. It's worth a look.
So but see how this is organized differently. This is organized where it's got you the background information on top, and then it's got some viewpoints of some issues like the digital divide, the new normal, Chicago Teacher Union. And then it also has like some reference articles and more background. So like STEM education, if you're interested in math, so STEM. And then in here is the journal section where they also have journal articles. So,
And
and
STEM would
then,
fit right in with what you're doing, Ben, because of course that's become the new focus of education. And you'd be looking at that from, it's been around now almost 10 years. You would be able to see how successful has it been? Do we have more women going into STEM occupations? is it successful?
So if you're interested in this article, what you do is you email it. Okay, so I'm going to click on send to, that little arrow, and then I'm going to click on email. And then do you mind giving me your email, Ben, or?
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay,
Just whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
BMOTA 32 at stu.jgc.edu.
Okay, and then I'll just put in my email. Okay, I'm gonna send you the full text. And then, so like something like this, I also up here can click on cite. And here, it doesn't have page numbers. So there's the article. It's an online collection. It's published by Gale. It's called Gale in Context, Opposing Viewpoints. And then it has a link to that article and the date we accessed it. So
Notice that the MLA is highlighted there. So this is MLA.
this is an
Now-
MLA one.
Yeah.
We try to have everything set up, guys, so that MLA always comes up first. So, but
Right. Well,
again,
that's
the
good.
beauty is if you're going through and you can't find a citation, or you email it yourself, or you lost it, you can do that chat with us right away. We can look into it and help you right away too.
The other
So,
thing about this is once you have copied this, you'll have to check it to make sure it actually does come out on your paper the way that it's formatted here. Does it have that hanging indent that's so doggone important, or has it switched and put everything over at the margin? So even though you have supposedly MLA saved, it doesn't necessarily translate perfectly to your paper. So you need to check it once you put it in. Okay, so if he chooses select, what does it do with it then?
that's just to copy it, select it. So I select it so I can do a Control-C to copy, or a right click to copy. So I emailed it to him. He should already have it, but I
Okay,
just wanted
yeah.
to show you what's here. And like another option, you can also do this get link, and this would be if you want to have a link that just goes directly to this, it'll make you log in, of course, but that's because if you just copy this whole long thing up here, it's not gonna
You're not going to end up at that.
last. It's not gonna, you'll come back in half an hour and it will say error not found or something.
Okay, so as you're doing this select, is that going into the email?
That's all this is just so I can copy and paste. The email one, I have to click on that paper airplane and fill out that email form.
Okay, so that sends him the article, but that does
Did
not
it send?
necessarily.
All right, well, I
send
might have
the
sent it to you
citation.
twice, but
I
And
did
then-
get the email, sorry,
okay,
and it got sent twice.
okay. All right, well, it was still filled in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I want a one-stop shopping thing.
And well, yeah, no, and so like let's where all did you search, Ben? Did you search the discovery tool? Did you search any specific databases?
I'm sorry about that. I used what's it called? EBSCO, the one that you're currently on. That's the database I've been using.
The Vocational Studies Premier?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do or I guess you could click here too and choose databases. You could do here, and you could do Academic Search Complete, which is just kind of like a general one. So is there a different aspect of that you still, is there a hole in your research, let's say, that you're looking for?
I'm trying to think. I'm pulling up my bibliography right now so I can see
Okay.
it because I know I looked at something.
Or challenges for secondary education teachers? You know, search something like that.
Well, not so much challenges as I want, like, part of this research I was trying to do was how far in, I guess, the degree I could go in, not so much as the degree, but more of the occupation. Like, for example, I was reading an article and it actually kind of interests me a little bit. It talked about the security and safety of the faculty and students.
Mhm.
And there was a really nice debate, like about like a 45-minute debate between letting teachers open carry. And I was actually interested in that. I don't know if that relates to these types of papers though.
It does. Ben, I mean, I hate to admit it, but yeah, it does. Right now, it's a very, very important topic. I know here in Joliet ourselves, we are having entirely too many fights in the hallways. It's not necessarily as safe. It's just not as safe. School is not as safe as it once was. And respect for teachers is declining. It's yeah, what can I say? It's disappointing. So yes, as much as I
It's,
hate to admit it, yeah, you could go with that.
I'm just, and sometimes, and sometimes the discovery tool is good for things like that. So like, what if I wanted to do high school security open carry? I just put that in just to see. Just to see something. And you know what else sometimes really helps me with, yeah, that's not gonna work. What also helps me with keywords is Google Scholar. So if I go to Google Scholar, and I have Google Scholar linked to the JJC library, I go in here and I go to settings and I go to library links, and that's where you can click on Joliet Junior College. So if I'm in Google Scholar, that's sometimes when I just type in my whole thing, like issues with high school security, with gun control. Okay. And then I can do like since 2017. And yeah, I think a lot. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure. This particular topic would probably take more searching, and you might have to do some Google searching. Like it but was it like an interview that you saw, Ben, or?
Yeah, it was a interview on YouTube, and I looked at, I think there was like 4 people on the panel. I did do 2 research on 2 of the speakers, and it seemed credible because one was a head, what do you call it? He's a lead in publication. I can't remember the top of my head because I looked at it last week. I thought the topic was a little bit too broad, and I thought it was kind of like a secondary issue with education. I didn't look at it as a primary. That's why I didn't dive too much into it. But looking for interviews on education, and one of them popped up with gun control. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And with issues going on in high school nowadays, especially with kids taking extreme measures, it kind of just, it rolled the ball down. So
One of the other places that I really like all of my students to access is the professional journals, which would be, you're going to get issues about open carry if you're reading anything that has to do with the NEA or the National Education Association, or you look at the AFT, American Federated Teachers. They all have their own journals, and they do indeed, I'm sure, address the security that has become quite an issue in school.
Well, and you can click up here. You can click on this journal search and you can search and you can see, okay, we have AFT. It's available online. Okay. And then, oh, is that it? Oh, that's not too good. It just says the 2013.
So in that case, you probably would have to go to their actual website.
American teacher.
Is YouTube not good access if it's doing the entirety of the debate without editing any of the content?
Okay, let me see if I can follow you. If you have credible people that are actually engaged in this debate, that's perfectly fine. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like I have no problem looking up the people and highlighting those links on like say Joe Schmo, lead editor at so and so. Like
Yeah,
and then
you've got
continue
to
from
go, yeah,
there.
you'll have to go and follow that to see, okay, lead editor of what publication, and then you want to look at that online and go probably down at the bottom or maybe at the top, it'll say about us. You want to see what kind of publication is this? Is it a credible journal, or is it going to follow the crap test? You know, is it backed by, you know, the National Rifle Association? You want to know where they're coming from, what that publication is. And if it's credible, it's good.
Okay, so like what the way I would do that would like I would link the YouTube link, for example, but then I would also in my bibliography write like the credible information on said person. Like that's how I would do it.
What you would do is it would be the YouTube would be your citation. But when you write about it, you would use that individual's name, such as so-and-so, and then what makes them credible, pointed out or discussed or referenced. And that's how then, as reading the article, we would know that you have that in that YouTube video, there's some credible people in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So you talk about the people in the paper.
He will.
Yeah, you talk about the people in
Yeah,
the
because he
paper.
would use quotes that they made in order to support his point of view.
Would
Yeah,
I need to also quote the time of the video, like when they said the quote, like at 11 minutes and say 42 seconds, or no?
No, I don't think that's part of the
I think you
part of the
just say
citation.
in this video, this person discusses.
It would, you know, what would be important is not the length of the video so much as when, the time, the date was, is it within the last 5 years that it took place.
Got it.
Right.
Because like I just wanted to avoid the like I don't want to give the impression that like I'm editing out of context. Like I say, like I would quote something, for example, at the end of the debate, and
Look
then
at,
like down my article, I'll go like before the
okay.
debate and just go back and forth with it.
You might want to look at this. This is from another library, but it's the MLA style format for citing online videos. So it's got the title of the video, YouTube, uploaded by screen name, day, month, year. And then in text citation, you could do that last name, that like screen name, and then you could put the time period. They do kind of show that in there as an alternative to page numbers. So
I'm looking at the one example of citation with no known author. Okay. Then it has the date that it was actually, is the date there the day that it was accessed, or is that the date that
typically that's the date it's posted or created.
Okay. So what we're looking at then towards the bottom, in text citation, we have the author's name, and rather than having a page number, I get it. We have when this person spoke within the video, and within 1 minute and 15 seconds, he shows up and says this, and 45 minutes later, he's done, rather than saying just the author. Because in a YouTube video, there really wouldn't be an author necessarily. Not if you're looking at
Well,
a
I
group.
think they just use, author creator. So,
Yeah.
there's-
So from practical point of view on this, Ben, is I wouldn't use a whole lot of YouTube videos, okay? That's going to drive you crazy. So one would probably be good, and it looks like you might have found something that's really going to be important for you, but I wouldn't go for a whole bunch of them, okay?
Yeah, I agree on that.
all right. Well, do you guys have any more questions for me?
I just want to take a minute and I want to change the screen, not just for Ben, but also for my other students to sort of elaborate a bit on what they're going to need to do with the notes that they're working on. So let me see. Okay, so here's how the note cards work. And Ben, I need feedback from you to see how well you understood this. The first thing you're going to do is find your 10 best resources, and you're going to list them. That's your source card, and you're going to put a number with them, so that when you go later to write your note, rather than writing the whole doggone title, you're just going to put it's from source 1, it's from source 2, just to streamline that. Do you understand this source card?
Since you just said that, now I do. Because I was confused. I'm like, okay, numbering it, but why number it? And
Why do we need numbers?
yeah.
It's to streamline what you're going to do when you start to write the note. Okay, so
Okay.
first, we're listing all of the sources. Then we're going to decide what key topics am I going to be addressing in this paper. And of course, everybody's going to have background information. In this case, I just put B for background. An issue in the field, everybody's probably going to have that. Then I added some previous solutions, because almost every problem in a career, someone somewhere along the line has tried to fix or improve. So if you run across that, you might want to just mention previous solutions, and then look at, well, what sort of things have been recommended, and you're thinking this might help. And then there's the counter argument, and especially where you're going to have a huge counter argument for the issue that you're going to address. And that particular issue, I think, is going to take your entire research project. Some people may have a couple issues that they're going to research, but I believe yours is going to be the whole banana. Okay, so you understand what the topics thing is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and here's an actual note. This is how it would look. In the pink there is an I. You can't see it real well, but that gives me the idea, so that I know, all right, this is going to be an issue quote. So when I get all of my I's together to write my paper, I'll have them organized, because here's all the I's. This particular quote is coming from source number 4, and it probably has a longer title. I can't remember, but I just put in the rough, or just abbreviated title, just so it picks your memory where you found this. Then you write the actual quote along with the in-text citation. And then the next two pieces of information are what's really important, is Number one is sort of a summary of what that article was about. Now, in this case, I was looking at a career as a professional golfer. My husband's crazy about golf, so I just did that. Anyway, so the article kind of looks like after the death of Ben Hogan, the most renowned pro golfer of his age, the game of golf and those who played it professionally changed radically. That was kind of the overall theme of this particular article. So that's what you want, sort of a little brief summary. And then the second one is what's most important is so how did this change? Or are these are the questions you would ask about this quote or what piece of information this brings. Are today's golfers as good as those in the past? Or is it their equipment that's, made them better golfers? So those are a couple of the questions that this quote kind of brings up. And basically, this is just what I just said. Number one is researchers' article summary. What's this thing about? And number two, what does it evoke in me as far as additional questions or comments about what the professionals have to say in this article? Okay. Questions?
I got no question. That makes a lot more sense now.
Oh, good. It's so hard trying to teach something like this online, and it drives me crazy. Anyway, okay, so I'm just gonna basically, Cynthia doesn't hear this, so she's gonna pretend that I didn't say that.
You want me to go ahead and stop the recording?
No, I want them to hear it, but I don't
okay.
want you to comment on what I want to say.
Okay.
So one of the things that you can do now, Wikipedia's gotten a bad rap. However, if you're really stuck, what you can do is you can go to Wikipedia, you can put in your topic or something, and then if you need to get sort of an overview, yeah, it'll help. But the more important thing is down at the bottom, look at their references. What sources did they use in order to write what they wrote? That's where it comes into being more credible, is what sort of sources did Wikipedia use? And at times when you have a goodly number of sources that came from a peer-reviewed database, sometimes you can add an occasional, and there's the key word, occasional, what would we call it? A more commercial publication. And you can Google that, like you can say something like issues in psychology and being a psychologist, or you could Google issues in special education teaching. And it'll bring up a few things, but you've got to make sure you check that article that it is a credible publication. So those are a couple pearls I just wanted to throw out. And I know Cynthia wouldn't necessarily agree with me, but it actually does work, especially if you're on frustration level with your database. Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
All right. I think that's all that I have for everyone. And you can get a hold of me. Email me at any time. I'm pretty good at, getting back at you. Yeah, I think this has been illuminating and very helpful. And I really, really do thank you for having our back.
All right.
Cynthia.
Well, I'm happy to help you guys.
All right. All right, that's good. Thank you. I'll see you all or hear from you all soon, I'm sure.